Hi there. Welcome to Monetise Your Business podcast conversations in partnership with FNB. We've got a really great guest this week. His name is Raymond, and he's multi-skilled, multi-passionate, multi-talented. And I always love conversations like that, Papa Biz, because we've got a lot of serial entrepreneurs that actually watch the podcast and attend our workshops. And often at times it's nice for them to meet other serial entrepreneurs and kind of catch up on their journey.
Yeah, no, very true. Raymond, thanks for being here. It's good to have a serial entrepreneur like yourself here. I remember the last workshop that we just ran within the Monetise program. There was a gentleman who asked, how do I go about becoming a serial entrepreneur? When do I know if I should be adding and things like that? So we'll be able to address that a bit later. So anyway, welcome. Glad for you to be here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation.
Wonderful, Raymond. I think before we get into the entrepreneurship talk and learning a little bit more about your different businesses, maybe just tell us a little bit about who you are. Who's Raymond? Where did you grow up? Just your early context.
Sure. So Raymond is a village boy. I was born in a village called Ratoke in Limpopo. And, raised by two loving parents, both late now.
Okay.
And, growing up in this village, my dad worked in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So I don't have like a very good memory of my father in my early years because he was working in Johannesburg. And, that's like the migrant labor situation that many families in South Africa experience. And then my mother, during that time, she enrolled at university and also was not around because she stayed on campus. So I was pretty much being raised by my siblings. I'm the last born. I've got two brothers and a late sister. And I think my aunt saw the situation and said, this cannot be the case. And so when I was like 4, I was then taken by my aunt and raised by my aunt for about 2-3 years in Carltonville, which is a mining community. And then, later reconnected with my parents when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old. And my father then bought a house in Proteatland in Soweto. And so I pretty much identify more as like a Sowetan because I grew up in, most of my adulthood and childhood was spent in Proteatland and Soweto. And so that's a little bit about my background.
What's the age gap with your siblings?
My eldest brother is 10 years older.
Okay.
My late sister 9, and then Jeff. So my eldest brother's name is Jimmy, and Jeffrey is my business partner.
Okay.
So he's 6 years older than me.
6 years, okay.
Yeah. And I'm the last in the family. And, because I'm the last in the family, I think I got most of the benefits from my parents because they, I suppose, were more experienced. And my dad was very passionate about education, and he made sure that, we got into very good schools that, were not really that expensive. So they were not private schools, but my high school, I went to a sister school of the University of Johannesburg. At the time, it was RAU, the Rand Afrikaans University, so the school was RAU Call, and it was such a brilliant school. The fees were really relatively cheap, from a Model C school. And I think at that school I was exposed to a lot because one of the things that the school did well was career days.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So every year from, I think, when you were in grade 10, actually I think from grade 8, every year they would organize a career day.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
And throughout that day, they would bring professionals from all manner of careers to come and speak to us about what is an engineer, what is an accountant.
That's brilliant.
And the school, though, I think leaned heavily towards accountancy. So I was exposed to like, chartered accountants from high school. My passion and my dream was to become an engineer, a aeronautical engineer. I wanted to fix aeroplanes. And so I got to figure out what that career path is like and what is required for one to become that. And got to apply for bursaries, because the beauty of these career days was that the professionals and the companies that attended would tell you, okay, this is what you need to do to become this person. And we have bursaries. And this is what you then need to do academically
To get the bursary.
Wow. And then because the school was a sister school to a university, they helped you apply to university.
Wow.
So it was such a great
Seamless.
school, seamless. So I, when I was in matric, my dad spoke to me and said, listen, we don't have money to take you to university. You need to make sure you get a bursary. And because I knew what was necessary to get one, and I knew where to look, I then, started applying.
Okay.
Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know if it's fortunate, unfortunate, but there were no businesses that offered bursaries to be an aeronautical engineer.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Sure.
So I needed to be a mechanical engineer first, and then specialize for 2 years in aeronautics and whatnot. So I applied for a bursary. I got an interview with Group 5.
Okay.
And it was later in my matric year, I think November or so. And that was the only interview I got.
That's a lot of pressure.
For, yes, engineering.
That's pressure.
Wow.
So because of that pressure, something in me, and I don't know where this came from, something said you need to prepare. You need to prepare for this interview. You've got one shot.
Yes.
And I think a lot of us have one shot in life,
Yeah.
So
100%.
the best way I thought I could prepare for my one shot was to apply for other bursaries with other companies, just so that I know how to navigate an interview.
Okay.
Yes.
And, the school leaned heavily towards accountancy, so I knew a lot of accounting firms.
Okay.
And I just submitted my application for their bursaries, and it so happened that I got 3 interviews for accounting, and they were all before the engineering one. So I was like, I'm going to be so prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first interview that I went to was in July. It was with Metropolitan. And, I walked into that interview and they said, do you want to be an accountant? And I said, yes, I want to, and they asked me, have you applied? I had applied for engineering at UJ, at DRAW. And then I said, yes, I've applied for accounting. And the interview went, and it was my first interview. And there were 3 candidates at the school, and they made it clear that only one was going to get the opportunity. For me, I was like, okay, I mean, I don't even want this.
I don't even want this. It's not what I'm...
That's not why I'm here, And they called me 3 days later, and they said, we've selected you.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yes. That was like, a curveball.
Yeah.
So I sat my dad down, and I said, listen, I still have this engineering interview that I want. But it's in November. We are here in July, and I've received an answer. They want, an offer. They want me to give them a response in 3 days.
Yo.
Sure.
What do I do?
Not even 3 months.
3 days.
Yeah.
And so I spoke to my dad, and my dad said, listen, you don't know if you would get the engineering one. How bad could accounting be? And I remember thinking about this, and one of the things that was memorable in these career days was, you would see these professionals come to talk to us. We're still in high school, and the way they would dress was quite nice. And then you'd look at the cars they drove.
The car, hey, you got to know the car.
And so all the chartered accountants seemed to be dressed quite smartly, and they were driving really nice cars. And I was like, oh, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. And I also was like relatively good in accounting. So I thought, let's see where this goes. I don't have funding. If I don't get the engineering bursary, I don't know what I want to do for education. And so I called them and I said, yes, I'll take the offer. And then I had to go to the university to Rao, go to the faculty of engineering, ask them to hand me my application form back, go to the faculty of management, commerce and management sciences, and ask, do you still have space to take me? And luckily they had space. And that's how I, ended up pursuing accounting.
Okay.
Wow, that's such
Ended
an
up,
interesting story.
being a CA. Spent 10 years of my life in like corporate life or professional life, working at PwC and APSA in investment banking. And after 10 years, then my brother said, listen, let's do this thing.
Wow.
And I jumped ship. And I've been pursuing entrepreneurship now full-time for 8 years.
Wow.
That's so interesting. After 10 years of being in corporate, were you apprehensive at all about going full-time into entrepreneurship?
100%. I mean, it was not an easy decision to make. But my brother had already started the business.
Already started, yeah.
But the business, IT Think, it's called IT Think Smart Solutions. It's a software development and consulting business.
Software development.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an IT business, and he's like a techie, and he needed someone with business skills. So him and his co-founder, they were talking to me for 2 years saying, listen, we need you to come.
Yeah.
I had done an MBA at UCT.
Oh, wow.
And so they were like, where are you going to apply everything you've
yeah,
learned?
yeah.
If you are stuck in this corporate,
Yes.
you're just doing, a small piece of what you've learned, right? So, yeah, I thought, okay, cool, I need to jump ship. But the problem with the decision was that every month my brother would call me and ask me, how much money do you have?
Sure.
Right? And I would be like, what do you mean, how much money? He said, can you borrow me everything you have?
Yo.
Because he needed to make payroll. And, there were invoices that were issued, but
Yes.
late
and the
payments,
delays and
there's
things.
delays.
Yeah.
And he needs to run payroll. And so he's just borrowing money from whomever can, lend him the money. And so I was like, this guy's crazy. Every month,
He needs to borrow.
he needs to borrow money from
And now
me.
he wants you
And now,
add on to that payroll without your amount.
Yeah, and at the time I was like really enjoying my life in corporate at APSA. I was traveling the continent. I had a really great job.
Nice.
I spent, a year in Egypt, time
wow.
in Ghana, 6 months in Ghana. So I was traveling the continent.
Amazing.
And I was like, I'm really enjoying it here.
Yes.
And then that project ended. So then I was going to Sentin every day, and it started getting boring. I was like, well, what's the worst that could happen? If this decision to pursue entrepreneurship doesn't work out, I've got a good education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
I can
get
always
back into the saddle.
get back into it and, find another job.
Yeah.
And for 8 years, I haven't had to submit a CV anyway.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So for 8 years, it's been tough, but fun.
Okay.
And I've launched other businesses as well during that time.
Okay. And now I want to check. So let's do two things. Let's discuss where are we currently. What types of businesses do you have? Let's address that one first.
Okay. So I have a NGO, which is one of my big passions.
Okay.
It's a sports NGO. It's called Diski 99.
Okay.
And we work in Soweto and Lakeview, and we run soccer and netball programs. We also run like leadership development programs for our beneficiaries and
That's
coaches.
brilliant. That's brilliant.
So for me, that feeds my soul.
Yes, I can
Wonderful.
imagine. Yeah.
That project we celebrate 10 years this year.
Oh,
wow.
I actually started the NGO with a friend of mine, Pierlo Master Munamudi, when I was still working at APSA in 2015. And so that is one of the projects. It's like a passion project.
Okay.
and now we're doing work with University of Johannesburg. So it's like a full circle thing.
Yeah.
Where, with the university, we're trying to create pathways for young athletes to understand that your talent in sports can help you get a sports scholarship at a university.
Okay.
But your academics need to be great, and good academics plus your talent for sports. All the universities around the country will offer you like a
Yes.
sports
Yeah,
scholarship
yeah,
because they
Yes.
need people who will represent them, who are talented, right? So that's the passion work. In the middle of the pandemic, we had a netball tournament that we had started. And we had to put it on hold because of lockdowns. And our funder wanted us to submit a report about 6 months later. And we said to them, listen, which country are you living in? You know that.
I mean, you can see
You
clearly.
can see that we are in this pandemic. And because of my accountancy background, I'm very good with like administration and reporting and writing reports, ensuring that financial statements are kept and all of that stuff. Governance of an organization, I'm really, really good at that. And fundraising. So I said to myself, you know what, we could give them a report if they want a report. We can give them and tell them what they want to hear. But I think there's an opportunity here to still use the funds, because we still had the funds. We could use them for something that's still sports.
Yes.
But it's safe for the kids to play because there's no physical contact.
Yeah.
And we stumbled onto esports.
Oh, really?
Yes, so that's competitive
Interesting.
video gaming.
Competitive video gaming. Okay.
Yeah, so
Which is a big thing now, right?
Huge.
Huge.
I've been hearing that it's a big thing.
And people are
huge.
making money. These
Yeah.
young kids are doing amazing stuff.
To play video games.
to play video games.
Yeah.
There's people
Like
who,
Tekken. Am I
Yeah.
exposing my age now?
No, Taken is actually a big title in the esports space.
Wow.
FIFA is one. There's multiple games that people play, and sometimes they earn more money in prize money of the tournament. And I sad to say this, than professional athletes.
Really?
It's
Yes.
incredible.
Yes,
That's crazy.
it's huge, right?
You actually remind me of my
Sure.
earlier self. I used to dominate in FIFA 99.
Ooh, now
90.
you're exposing his age.
I love FIFA. So anyway, so we then organized the FIFA tournament.
Okay.
Yes.
And so we saw these kids play. And as they were playing FIFA, I thought to myself, why are they not playing a game developed in Africa? And that question led me down a rabbit hole. And I did a lot of research around the gaming industry. And when I say gaming, sometimes people confuse it with gambling. We're not.
No, not at all.
We're talking about video games.
Yes, yes.
And then I learned that video games are actually the biggest entertainment medium on earth.
I
The
didn't know that.
video game industry is bigger than the film industry and the music
Really?
industry combined. Yeah. It's a massive industry.
You know, when I
There's-
left gaming, I just thought everybody else also had left
Yeah,
gaming.
it's well,
clearly didn't.
there's a lot of stereotypes and biases around video games, and mostly it comes from parents not understanding it.
Yes.
And when they see their kids play, they think you're just playing, just wasting time, But what they don't understand is that it is an industry. And so unfortunately on our continent, less than 1% of video games in the world are developed by Africans.
Wow.
Yet Africans, and there's a company called New Zoo. They do research around the industry and they publish reports every year. And what these reports tell us is that there's about 3 billion people on the planet who are video game players.
Okay.
Africa and the Middle East make up the second biggest population of video game players in
Really?
the world.
And we have zero ownership.
We are consumers. We
So we're not participating then
consume-
correctly in that
Yes.
economy.
Yes. So once I understood the space and I understood the numbers, as an accountant, I was with my co-founder, Roman Bleekers, in the gaming business. And I said to him, listen, we need to make games. We need to develop games. But now you see the challenge is that Robin is like a psychologist, like he studied psychology and he's a management consultant. I'm an accountant. Where on earth do we start to build video games? We don't have the skill sets. But I'm very good at fundraising because of my accounting background. So I managed to put together a compelling proposal. And I went to, an organization that is involved in the video game space. And I said, listen, we need to make our own games. We need to tell our own stories through games. There's an opportunity for us to train young people across various skill sets, like video game development, so which is like software development.
Okay.
Because a video game, if you think about it, is a piece of software. And our core business is a software development and consulting business.
I see it now.
So then I was able to say, okay, cool, we can make software.
Yeah.
A video game is nothing else but just a
Software.
piece of software. But a video game is interesting because it also has art.
Yes.
So there's artists that need to draw the characters. You need to animate the character and make it move and jump and
100%.
kick and, punch. There's music involved. Because
yes.
there's sounds in
Yes.
video games. A video game is a story.
Yes,
so,
it does.
You need writers. And
Sure. It's actually
So
quite layered, hey?
yeah, when I understood it, it was crystal clear to me that we could build a massive industry in the continent where we also build and make our own games and tell our own
Yes.
stories.
Yes.
If you look at other, parts of the world, Europe, Asia, America, they've managed to tell their
Yes.
own stories
Yes.
through video games.
Yes.
I mean, there's still a massive narrative around World War II, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
There are so many movies made about World War II, so many games about World War II. I'm not a big fan of war, but it's part of history and culture.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
We
yeah.
have never told any of our stories here in Africa.
That's true.
Yeah.
Around, and can you imagine building a video game
Yeah.
that would be telling all the tribes,
Yes.
some of the challenges that they've been experiencing. It could be a strategy game.
I love that.
It could be games teaching young people about resources,
Yes.
resource optimization, and
Yes.
so
Wow,
forth.
that's brilliant.
Yes.
So,
That is brilliant because I love how it's also in a format that young people want to consume.
Sure.
And so it just reignites that interest in who they are and their own story. I think that's brilliant.
yeah. So, that question of why don't we have these games? So I formed a company called IT Think Gaming, and 4 years ago we started it, and now we've got 24 people
Oh, wow.
that are in the business that are making games.
Sure.
We've got a
Brilliant.
couple of games that we've
Brilliant.
developed that are still sort of like prototypes. And what we're trying to understand is how do we build small games and test them in the market
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
see
yes.
if there's appetite before we invest even more funding
Yes.
and more resources to make a full game, right?
Yes.
The gaming industry is extremely competitive.
Of course.
We are essentially in the infancy of this industry on the continent.
Okay.
And so we've got many challenges around skills. There aren't a lot of universities that are teaching young people how to make games and the business of games and the marketing of games, monetizing of games.
Monetizing of the games.
And so we're essentially building this workforce. And you realize that, because we don't have lots of studios that have made commercially successful games on the continent, we don't have a lot of senior experienced talent. And so our industry right now is flooded with a lot of juniors. And juniors need lots of mentorship and
Yes.
support and time and training. So that's where we currently are at the moment. And we're doing some really cool work with National Treasury. We received a Jobs Fund grant because we managed to convince government that this is an industry that needs to be supported.
Yes.
And we need conducive policies and programs and, so that we can also tell our own stories
Yes.
through games. So that's my third business.
Okay.
And then
Absolutely fascinating. I must
yeah,
say.
and then I've got an investment firm called Yabo. It's still in its infancy. We've invested in a clothing brand called Boys of Soweto. I'm actually wearing
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Boys
Boys
of
of
Okay.
Soweto.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to Bob, the stylist, Vus Musindima, who started the business. And then, during COVID, he came to us looking for funding. And then we're able to invest and get a minority stake in the business. And I'm so proud because I grew up with him in Soweto. And I'm so proud of the work that he's been doing in growing the brand. And I see the brand as like an international premium clothing brand.
Brilliant.
And it's growing and it's doing some wonderful things.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to ask you quickly, this is where it led to the second part, is that in your first year, when you now went full-time into entrepreneurship, what were some of the things that, when you look back, you experienced that you hadn't really thought about or you were surprised with when you went in there, as opposed to when you're working in corporate?
Yeah, I think the biggest is structure. Corporate, I believe, is a big, it's a great platform that teaches you structure and processes, right? And when you are running your own business and your business is still sort of like in its early stages, there is no structure.
Yeah.
There are no processes. You need to develop them, and it takes time to
Yes.
figure that out. And
True.
so that was the big thing for me, leaving corporate, leaving a very structured environment where you understood how your day looked.
Exactly.
And what
It's
you need
almost
to
like
do.
pre-planned.
Yeah, it's pre-planned. There's strategy already developed.
Yes.
You're just executing and implementing. Now you have to develop the strategy of the business. And some of these things nobody teaches you. What do you do with your time? How do you spend your time? So for me, that was like a really big moment where I was a bit confused. I didn't really know what do I do today? What do I focus on, But then one of my mentors, Derek Thomas, told me that, listen, you just need to focus on two things. Business development, just sell. Always be selling.
Okay.
And then hiring. If you sell and you win work, then hire the right people to develop and to implement. So I think lack of structure was a big issue for me. And leadership, I think, like looking at our team now, it's grown so much. And nobody teaches you leadership.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about managing people. I'm
Yeah.
talking about leading them and saying, this is the direction that we're going to go, when you yourself are trying to figure it out. I suppose a lot of entrepreneurship is about conviction.
Yes.
And it's so hard to explain what is conviction. How do you explain to people, why do you believe that Africans must build video games? It's a conviction I have.
Yes.
And the conviction is that we can't be consumers all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need to produce. But the whole evidence around me, data around me, tells me otherwise. It tells me that, well, look at the competition. Look at the people you're up against. They've been doing it for longer. You're
Decades.
competing with Japanese who have been
this.
at
with
this for
massive technology as well.
with massive technology experience. You look at anime, what they've done for anime. So they've got like really great products.
So they've advanced from Street Fighter. I used to play Street Fighter.
Yeah, and then you look at they're competing with the Americans.
Yes.
And they bring like Hollywood type of budgets to games,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then you're looking at yourself and you're like, man, where do I start? But that's conviction. You have to believe to the point of almost being delusional about, the idea that this thing is going to work. I can look at the evidence around me and the data around me and try and make sense of it, but I can't let it discourage me. I can't be too rational about it. I almost have to be foolish. I have to look at the information and say, yeah, I can see what the data is saying, but I still believe Africans must make games.
Exactly.
And I
for
believe,
that reason.
and for that reason,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay in this fight for
Yes.
as long as I can.
Yes.
And one day we will have, you know,
Yeah.
a video game that is a commercial success.
Yeah.
That has been built here on the continent, you know, by Africans. We obviously welcome working with other people from around the world, but we want to tell our own stories. Whatever that story is, it doesn't necessarily have to be very typical, you know, like African folklore or whatever. It can just be like lived experience
Exactly.
of how we see the world today, and just add our own flavor, add our own experience. And I believe we'll create magic.
Absolutely.
Given the right time, resources, patient capital, which is very hard to find in this
Yes.
space because it's a misunderstood
Yeah,
industry.
100%.
But I think we're on our way.
Absolutely.
And we'll get there.
I'm very interested to hear, Raymond, about how do you develop yourself as Raymond?
Sure.
The entrepreneur, the leader who's able to lead others to kind of become the type of person that is able to run these multiple businesses, is able to steer your team in the direction that they go. Is it the books you read? Is it the people you associate
Sure.
with? What are some of the things that you do to pour into yourself
Yeah.
from like a personal development perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's a combination of things. By the way, I've also written a book.
You're an author.
Yeah,
I
I'm
remember you're an author.
Please
Yeah.
do tell us about that.
So my book is called The First Generation Founder, How to Build a Startup Mindset and Thrive. It's available at major
I love
book
that.
retailers nationwide, and you can
Brilliant.
find them online as well.
First generation
Amazon.
founders.
First Generation Founder.
Okay.
And the book is exactly to the question you're asking, particularly for people who do not come from families or environments where you grew up seeing entrepreneurs. You grew up seeing people lead other people.
Yes.
All right. For me, my dad worked for Spoornet for 40 years. My mother had struggled to find work. So I didn't grow up seeing anyone run a business in my whole family, right? So you kind of have to teach yourself or learn the ropes on your own. And there are many resources out there. The books that you read is quite important. The people you
Yes.
surround yourself with, quite crucial. What you listen to, the podcast that you listen to.
Okay.
And, you know, I suppose the biggest experience or the biggest teacher is experience.
Yes.
Despite all the resources that you might consume, you still have to do it. You still have to apply and do it for yourself. Because your journey and my journey will likely not be the same.
Not be the same, yeah.
So the challenges that you experience in running a business and the challenges I experience won't be the same.
Yes.
But, you know, someone said to me that success leaves a trail.
Yes.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
And so there's lots you could learn from other people who
Yes.
walk the path
Okay, I
That's
see that.
brilliant.
and see,
yeah.
well, if, you know, Papa did this, Hetty did this, what could I take and borrow and learn from and implement? The biggest thing, though, for me, I would say, is figuring out your own path. I think that's so crucial. And to figure out your own path, you have to try things. You have to let go of the fear of failure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so hard to do, especially when you don't come from anything and you know, like, you're so afraid to lose what you already have.
Yes.
And business is all about risk,
Yes.
taking that risk. And there's a high likelihood that you will fail, right? Being comfortable with that and seeing that failure differently,
Yeah.
I think is what sets, you know, great entrepreneurs apart from everybody else.
Yeah.
Is that you're willing to take the risks. You understand that you are likely going to fail. You do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and you don't stop, and you keep re-engineering, rethinking the solution if things are not working out. And so it's a mindset.
Yes.
I think the mindset of I'm not going to stop no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, someone did say, though, sometimes you have to also know when to stop certain things, because there are some things that you just can see
Need to be
that,
able
you know
to-
what,
Chapters need to
Yeah,
close
closed,
for new
yeah.
ones to open.
this is not working. I need to stop this and do something else.
Yes.
I think there's also value in that.
In that
There's
as
value in
well.
that.
Yeah,
That's true.
you know.
Yeah.
So everybody has to figure out their own journey for themselves.
No, thanks for sharing that, and that's actually been quite impactful. You know, as we're looking to just coming towards the end, are there, just through your story and your experience, are there any parting words of wisdom or encouragement that you'd like to leave with the audience, mostly aspiring entrepreneurs, some of them with businesses? Is there any words you'd like to leave with them?
I think for me, it's just to get people to go back to their why of why are you doing this thing? You know, the conviction. I think I am, like I said, you know, if you look at research and data and evidence around us, all the evidence is telling us that we are not going to make it. You know, all the evidence around us reminds us that,
Yeah.
you know, startups. I don't know what the stat is. You might even know the stat. I ignore these things, right? Of how many startups fail.
Yeah.
And so for me, if your why is strong enough,
Yeah.
and why you're doing it, and why you're so convicted about this particular problem that you're trying to solve, who you're solving it for, I think, you know, just stick with it.
Okay.
Just stick with it, and yeah, just keep pushing.
Okay.
And ignore all all this evidence that's telling you you're not going to make it. I believe that everybody is special in their own ways, and we are here for a particular reason.
Yes.
And for many people, they live their whole lives not knowing why they're here.
Yeah.
And I think if you're an entrepreneur and you're convicted about something and you understand your why, you're one of the lucky ones
Okay.
who at least has a sense of, okay, this is why I'm here. You know, I'm here to try and make a dent
Yes.
to this particular problem.
Okay.
And yeah, I consider that a privilege.
Okay, cool.
And I think just keep pushing.
Yes, absolutely. Gosh, so many nuggets. Let me just throw the ball back to you, Papa Biz. What are some of the nuggets you've gotten from today's conversation with Raymond?
You know, one thing, as I started off, it's been this idea and discussion around how to manage multiple businesses. And one of the things you spoke at, that sometimes we actually take it for granted because you just do, or you've learned it a long time ago. And you spoke about it, about the importance of structure and creating structure. It's something that we can, you know, take for granted, but having people and systems and just being deliberate about how are we structuring our business to be able to allow us, yes, of course, to grow because we need money to come in, but also to allow space for people to take on responsibility for areas we're giving them responsibility for, and also to be able to create space mentally if we're now looking to be able to explore something else and explore something that perhaps to others might not make sense. But when you explore like the way that you did, I mean, you've actually done sufficient research, quite a lot of research, and you realize, oh, but there's also a gap here. And, you know, that comes about when we are deliberate in creating structure. And even when you used that point, I'm going to utilize it myself, even just how are you spending the day? Because, you know, as entrepreneurs as opposed to corporate, you know, your day's pretty much already worked out for you. It's different meetings and meetings you shouldn't be involved in, and meetings about meetings. And, you know, when you're now having your own business, you know, really being deliberate in terms of structuring your day. So that's something that I'm going to take. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Tell me, Raymond, if someone wants to get in touch with you, maybe they're interested in your various businesses, how do they go about doing that?
So I'm available on LinkedIn, Raymond Ledwaba, Facebook, Instagram, Ledwaba Raymond, and I think those are the main social media platforms. And then, for my businesses, itthink.co.za is our website, itthinkgaming.co.za, and diski99.co.za.
Brilliant. I'm just so inspired by your journey and the different businesses that you are in, because what I'm also picking up from you is that you're not just in business for the sake of being in business. You are actually in business to actually impact the industries that you are in. And I think that that is such a different angle for us as entrepreneurs, that yes, we're in business, yes, we want to make profit and all of those things, but how are we actually shaping the environment, the narrative, the stories of the industries that we're in? And I think you're doing such a brilliant job of that.
Thank you so much. I
So
appreciate
thank you. Thank you so much for the work you're doing, Raymond.
Thank you.
All right, monetizers, that brings us to the end of yet another podcast conversation, Monetize Your Business. I hope it's been interesting for you. Please do leave a comment down below. Don't forget to plug into all of our social media platforms. It's at Monetize Your Business, and also to come to our physical workshops. We want to see you in person. So you'll be able to see the information of where we are coming to next on all of our social media platforms. Until the next episode. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.